extremely happy today for this day where different political parties and civil society organizations like Sensitise Uganda are coming up and teaming up together to forge a way to contribute to the growth of our democracy by advancing electoral and constitutional reforms. So electoral reforms are very important because they help us in improving the electoral processes through fostering enhanced impartiality, inclusiveness, transparency, integrity, and accuracy. On 24th October 2022, Sensitise Uganda met with NCF members here at NCF offices here in Kansanga and consulted the members on the electoral reforms. Different reform proposals were generated and a draft report was written. We were informed that that report was discussed by the different organs of NCF. We therefore requested to meet with you today so that we can review our electoral and constitutional reform proposals, that is the ones for Sensitise Uganda, but also for NCF, with the aim of merging them and, if possible, coming up with one report which we, Sensitise Uganda and NCF, can use for joint advocacy. At this point, I would like to call one of our colleagues from Sensitise Uganda to take us through the proposals.
There is need for increased period for nomination and emphasizing thorough verification of candidates' qualifications. This is also needed to cater for the large number of candidates in areas with many electoral areas. Some voters endorse multiple candidates, and candidates have no mechanisms of verifying such voters, only to be turned away at nomination. And to make matters worse, some voters ask candidates for payment in exchange for endorsement. Nomination fees are relatively high and prevented poor and marginalized citizens to participate as candidates in the elections. Even the special interest groups were required to pay the same amount, thus locking out many from contesting.
They have given us a presentation. In case you need to add or remove or affirm, this is the time now. Yeah. Yes, Carol.
Page 4, item B, NCF came up with a recommendation here saying that political parties that are registered should not be required to pay a registration fee or reduce the registration fee on political parties. Nomination fees rather, on political parties. That is the stand of NCF.
Thank you very much, Madam Carol.
The recommendation number 1, they talk about public servants and political campaigns. The law prohibiting public servants from participating in political campaigns should be reviewed and made more stringent and punitive. My opinion is that they should not actually even resign before they go for an election. If I am a public servant and I want to participate in an election or to contest for a political office, I should be given leave. I go, I participate in an election. After winning the slot, that is when I should go and resign.
We are after purifying and sanitizing our elections. However, when I look at this document, I don't see any serious mention of the code of conduct highlighted. Yet we did discuss this matter in order to have more organized, peaceful, fair and more credible elections. Therefore, I recommend that let the code of conduct be incorporated in this document.
Today's consultative meeting with Sensitise Uganda augurs well with NCF's key result area geared towards promotion of inclusive participation in consultation and political dialogue. So we are doing that now. We are dialoguing with you. We are consulting you so that we can come up with very clean reforms, and then we shall submit them.
So the following recommendations were made. The Commission should develop voter education curriculum and training materials and undertake training of trainers course for accredited CSOs for standard practices and content delivery. The Commission should network with other MDAs and political parties to integrate voter education and complement each other. Ministry of Education and Sports should include civic education and voter education in their curriculum at an early stage in the education system for lifelong learning.
Recommendations to this is amend section 12 to require Electoral Commission to carry out voter education 1 year before general elections. And then the other law that would be affected is the Uganda Human Rights Commission Act, section 7, 1, F, G, and H, to provide for compulsory comprehensive civic education relating to elections at least 2 years prior to a general election. Amend section 19 to include registration of Ugandan citizens in the diaspora and persons in prison. Issue number 3, a competent, credible, and adequately resourced electoral body that is independent of Electoral Commission. Here, the law to be amended is in the Constitution, Article 60. Amend Article 60 to accommodate nomination, vetting, appointment of members through open and competitive process. Recommendation is to amend Article 60 to accommodate nomination, vetting, and appointment of members through open and competitive process by establishing an independent body of 7 eminent persons. Recommendation: electoral reforms should be finalized in the 2nd year of government. Also, as the recommendation of Supreme Court in the Mbabazi versus Museveni case 2019. Amend section 14 to provide funding to all registered political parties and organizations at registration. Funding should not be restrictive to elections. Amend formula for distributing funds to political parties to consider seed fund.
We have the principle of free and fair elections. That is, everybody talks about it. But there is another principle that always lacks verifiability of results that they announce. We have had very many issues. One glaring one was in Kayunga, where the returning officer read results, and she was the only one who knew where they were coming from, and all the other parties were querying the document she was reading from. I think that it is very important to ensure that if we have agents and we are allowed to have agents, there is that other principle of verification of the results. The returning officer must be able to read those results that have been verified between the Electoral Commission and the agents who have been there at the polling stations.
The army should belong into their barracks and should not be brought to the body politics. Let them be represented by their ministers who hold those portfolios. But for us to continuously say that they are part of the problem or the solution, my goodness, this has been 30-some years plus, and you still have the problem of the armed forces.
The army is not supposed to engage in partisan politics. Our parliament is a divided parliament. Why should these uniformed people be represented in parliament? Why? By law, they are not supposed to be partisan. What are they doing in the house? Because we have other armed forces. We have the police, we have the prisons, we have. Why are they not in the house? So I strongly support that the army should get out of our parliament. Let them be in the barracks to protect our country.
Thank you so much.
That means even somebody who gets electoral votes will have a share in deciding what our country should do or should not. But as it is today, it is only the powerful that will decide for everybody. Even if you just got only 50% of the votes in the country. So, Mr. Chairperson, to improve on sharing of political, social and economic resources, we should adopt a proportional representational system of government. I thank you.
Thank you so much.
We as political parties are concerned about the gerrymandering and use of allocation of constituents as political reward. There must be standardization of creation of constituents. The Electoral Commission is supposed to be the one in charge of creating constituencies. But if you check the record, for the last 15 years, the Electoral Commission has never proposed that this constituency should be provided. But every time, when members feel it is hit, they go to Parliament and somebody feels is going to lose a seat, then they go through, then they propose constituencies. I think the issues of demarcation of boundaries should be very important.
And we hope that we can achieve a lot. Allow me first of all to thank the Secretariat of NCF for, of course, giving us an opportunity as Sensitise Uganda to have a kind of discussion with the members of NCF on the desired electoral and constitutional reforms. We are very grateful. I would like to thank our wonderful and great partners, the International Republican Institute, IRI. We thank you for always extending support to us to make sure that we contribute to national building as an organization.